Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining It's a Wonderful World. So, It's a Wonderful World is set up like this. So each of the different resource cubes in their appropriate coloured spots. These cards with their little tokens on them. This is the round marker, which goes there and tells you which direction to pass the card. So on the first and third round, you'll pass to your left. On the second and fourth round, you'll pass to your right. Each person has one of these cards, which is their base card, their original building or their area. And this is different for each player. You know, see, the other player is looking 3 points for every one of these blue types of buildings. This one's going to get 1 point for every one of these he has at the end of the game, or one extra multiplier for each of them. So the game starts with each player getting dealt a certain number of cards. In the 2-player game, each player is getting the 10 cards. In a 3 or more player game, each player is getting 7 cards. So in the 2-player game, you're going to end up with 3 cards that you're not using at all that get discarded. This is in essence what the cards look like. So what they mean, in order to actually build the building, you're going to need this many of this different colors. So this card needs 3 of the grey cube, 3 of the grey cubes, and 1 of the black cubes. Once this is built, you will get that as a one-off. So that's the guy's head just over here. And then that will get built in here. So each time we get to a resource round, which I'll get to in a moment, you would get the resource that's on the bottom of this card as well. The other option you have on this card as well is to not build it, but recycle it, and you would get whatever the cube is in that bottom right-hand corner. And that's really where this game is making that decision. Is it worth recycling for this or building for this? Some of the cards have a number of cubes that you're going to get depending on how many of this type of building has been built in your area. Some of them have points for that color of building. So the one we were just looking at looks like that. So you're looking for the little symbol down that bottom right-hand corner. So there's a lot to think about. So in essence, if he's to go, I want to build that one, he's going to get the resource to be able to get this built before the black cubes are actually given out. And you'll see how that works in a moment. So if he goes, I'm going to do that one and say that one, these cards will then get, because it's the first round, passed to the left-hand side. Once everyone's taken their cards out, we'll see what happens when they come back. So the cards keep getting passed around until he has 7 cards. Okay, once each of the people have chosen their 7 cards, they're then choosing what to do with them. So this player thinks he will go to build those 4, and these ones will get passed in. What he's going to get for passing these in is 2 green and 1 grey. These need to be placed onto cards. If they can't be placed onto cards, they can be put down here. Whenever you get up to 5 tokens on here, doesn't matter what colour, those 5 get passed in and trade to 1 red. The red ones can be used as if they are any colour. So if you are stuck in a position where you don't have any way of creating the colour that you need, you can always create and use a red instead. So he'll put them there as his income. Okay, so you'll notice that once the decision was made to build these ones, they've been put into a spot. So a spot here for stuff that's in your hand, you haven't decided what to do with yet. Then they go to the build spot. And once they are built, they'll then go to here. So the very next thing that happens is that the grey gets paid out. So this player will be getting 2 grey. That player doesn't have any grey on his card and doesn't have any building, so he doesn't get any. This player is then going to use those 2 grey to build that. That now comes down here. Now, each player gets the black. So that player will get 2 black. This player gets the 1 black for the card and the 1 black for the card that just came across. And he'll put those 2 black there, which now builds this card. And this player will put his 2 black there, which builds that card. Then the green comes in. So this player's only pulling 1 green in, and he puts that straight onto anywhere that he wishes. He thinks he'll put it there. That player doesn't have any green coming in. Then yellow comes in. Neither player has any yellow developed. And then blue comes in. This player will get 2 blue, and this player will get 1 blue. There's nowhere for his blue to go up here, so he's going to leave that on his board. And as I said before, when you get 5 things here, that turns into 1 red. Okay, once all of the resources have been given out, you then go along, and whoever has the most resource producing buildings or ability to produce each resource will get a token. So we start here, so whoever has the most grey production ability. So this player has 2, that player has 1, which would mean this player would get 1 of these markers. We then go to the black, notice it's this marker. This player can produce 2, that player can produce 2. So because there's an even, no one gets it. Then we go to the green, this player can produce 1, that can produce none. That can be either a blue or a red face. Because he gets points for the red faces, he will take a red face. Then we go to yellow. Neither of them are able to produce yellow at the moment, so no one gets it. And then to the blue, this one can produce 1 blue, that can produce 2, so that player would get a face. Then the marker moves forward. Notice I flipped it over, so the cards will get passed the other direction if you're playing with more than 2 players. And we start the next round. So in essence, what we're coming down to at the end of the game is these cards aren't actually worth anything at the moment. These guys are, we'll talk about them in a second. The points come from any of these cards that have just a points value on the bottom left corner. You add all of them up. Then you go through each type of building, so the blacks, the greens, the yellows, etc. And any of them that have a little multiplier would gain points. So if I had managed to build this one by the end of the game, that would be worth 3 points. If I'd managed to build this as well, that would be worth 6 points total. Of course, there's 2 times the 3, plus the 3 points obviously that we've already taken down for that. And that goes through each of the building types. Then you come to these. So these are worth a point each. Doesn't matter what color it is. But if you have a multiplier, what this one is now worth is that times 1 plus the 1 point that it's worth itself. So if I had a pile of red, those 4 red would be worth 4 points, then 1 times the 4 points. You may find that there are buildings that give you multipliers as well. So if through the game I'd managed to build those up, what I'd be getting now is 1, 2, 3 times that. So it's 12 points plus the 4 points for having them as well. So that's 16 points total. Whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. And that's pretty much it for It's a Wonderful World. Please go ahead and watch my gameplay to get a feel for how the game actually plays. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be gamesplained, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.